Gaydar Radio's Heroes.
So we come to Gaydar Heroes Campaigner of the Year. In this category, Gaydar listeners and users nominated Peter Tatchell, Jackie Crozier from Festival Director Manchester Pride, Sir Elton John and David Furnish, Ellie Barnes, teacher behind the anti-gay bullying campaign at Stoke Newington School in London, and the brilliant people responsible for the annual LGBT History Month. I have to say I'm very tickled pink about this one, because the winners, the Gaydar Heroes, the Campaigner of the Year, and joining us on the line from America, welcome to Gaydar Radio, Sir Elton John and David Furnish.
Hey, thank you, guys.
No way!
It is.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're here. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't tell you, we are absolutely tickled pink.
I'm sure you are.
And now listen, what would you like to say to the Gaydar universe?
Well, that's an amazing honour. I mean, there's a list of people there that do such great work every single day. And, you know, Peter Tatchell is one of my heroes of life. I picked him when I edited The Independent as one of my heroes. And so all those people you mentioned do incredible work. And I just feel extremely touched and honoured to be even in the same breath as those guys. So thank you very much, Gaydar.
How do you feel, David?
I can only second that as well. I mean, the work that those people do on a day-to-day basis is just incredible, and they really can change the course of people's lives and affect, you know, our community so positively. And, you know, even to be included with them as a group is just such an honor. So thank you so much.
And we also wanted to, Elton, you just mentioned there Peter Tatchell, but who are your heroes?
Well, Peter Tatchell is one of my heroes. I chose him, as I say, for The Independent. Peter's, you know, put his life on the line for the gay and lesbian community and for change and for injustice and, you know, and in extreme circumstances sometimes where he's had to go to hospital. He must have faced so much danger. So he is a complete hero of mine. Other people like Ian McKellen, of course, who, you know, have done so much to promote the gay and lesbian thing by coming out and saying it's all right to come out. And in fact, his career's taken off. Even, you know, he's a bigger star now than he ever was. So people, you know, who have got the courage to admit that they're gay in a situation where it can make a difference. And you're beginning to see more and more people come out now, hopefully. Not so many actors, unfortunately, but definitely singers. And we owe it to our brothers and sisters to say, listen, it's okay, you know, we're in a privileged position, we're in showbiz. It's much easier for us to come out and say we're gay than people who have a normal job or their families don't understand. So as far as I'm concerned, it was never a problem for me, and I feel very privileged and honored that I can actually say I'm gay, and I have been for a long time. And the heroes of mine are the people like the Peter Tatchells and people, and Elizabeth Taylor, who died, who, you know, speak up for people, speak up for the underdog and people who need our support all the time. So you've got to put, as I get older, you need to put your head above the parapet much more. And I think I do that now. It sometimes gets me into trouble, but I can't help it. You know?
There's an understatement.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you do. What about you, David? Is there anybody in particular that stands out for you?
Just to add on to what Elton said, you know, Ian McKellen, a lot of people aren't aware that, you know, he goes up and down the country in Britain, you know, to schools, visiting schools, and talking about, you know, his sexuality and talking about it very openly, and, you know, how empowering it is and how healthy it is. And how normal and how is his sexuality. I think that's an incredibly brave thing to do. And I remember when I was struggling coming out, you know, all those years ago, I didn't have any role models. And I think it's very, very important that, you know, as Elton said, we do speak out, and we do, you know, we're proud of our identities. We're proud of who we are. I think we can all draw inspiration from each other, and we can also change the way the world thinks about us. And that just takes the courage to stand up and speak out.
If you type both of your names into Google and plus campaigner, there are instantly appeared 6,555,000 results. I think it's fair to say you're both so active and have stood up and campaigned so brilliantly. Do you think there will ever be a time that you will be able to stop campaigning and put your feet up and say, our work here is done?
No, I don't think so. I mean, hopefully in the Western world, but, you know, I don't think there's always going to be hate and there's always going to be injustice. And when you look at people in Uganda and places like that who, you know, people are being... The Americans are funding the Ugandans to say, you know, all gay people should be shot or killed. I mean, when you're still, you know, in the 2011 and that's still going on, I think we'll be campaigning and speaking up for us. There's always going to be injustice in the world. It's never going to be a perfect place. But, you know, it's... It's unfortunately that's the situation. So no, we're still going to be doing this till we pop our mortal clogs. I think. So.
Don't say that, please.
No, I know, but it's an unfortunate situation. But you know, the more and more people that join the cause and speak out against things, the better. So, you know, as I say, it's easy for me to do it because I've got a platform, and sometimes people don't like me using that platform. But if I feel someone is being abused or mistreated, or there's bigotry going on, or I can't not sit by and sort of let things go by like that. I'm too old in the tooth now. I just can't do it.
This week, we've been told that HIV prevention services in London face a funding cut of about 43%, and that's on the back of the news that in the last 10 years, we've seen a 70% rise in new diagnoses of HIV infections in gay men. If you could both speak to the government, if you were, to come face-to-face with David Cameron, what would you say? I'm
going to see David Cameron when I come back in April. I have a date in my diary to see him. And I'm going to be talking with him, with the people who work for my AIDS Foundation, to talk about this very thing and see what the government is going to do about it and see how we can work together. Because it is startling that in this day and age the infection rate has gone up so much within gay men. So this is something that's on our agenda, and I'm going to be doing that when I come back in May.
Do you get quite involved with this yourself, David?
No, absolutely. I'm chairman of the AIDS Foundation in both the UK and in America. The new younger generation of gay men that are out there, they didn't get the same safe sex messages that I got when I was growing up and I was becoming aware of my sexuality. There has been a decrease in funding. Cutting that funding further is disastrous because there's so much misinformation out there relating to HIV and how it's transmitted and how it affects people. We need to continue to, as each new generation comes along and becomes sexually active, we need to continue to make them aware and understand the risks of HIV.
The message in the 80s was don't die of ignorance, and there seems to be a lot more of that around now, doesn't there?
Absolutely, and there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of misunderstandings. There's people thinking, I'm in my 20s, someone from my generation won't have been exposed to the virus, or they think that the antiretrovirals are a cure. They're not. They're a treatment. And the best thing that we know that works is education and prevention to stop the disease in its tracks. That's the best way to stop the spread of HIV.
And also there's so much stigma around still about the disease, which is extraordinary, seeing it's been around now for 30 years. The stigma, the shame is still, right around this disease, and that's really tragic after 30 years that people feel, that there should be stigma, and, families are still reacting about it and not understanding AIDS, and people who have HIV are so ashamed they don't tell anybody, or they don't, it's quite amazing that the stigma is one of the most important things we're having to face. And again, this is something we'll be talking to David Cameron about.
Please, can we talk something beautiful? Baby Zachary. How has he changed your lives?
Well, he's changed my life completely. I mean, I'm besotted by him. And I never thought in any shape or form before a couple of years ago that I would ever be a father. And it's the most incredible thing about it. It's relaxed me and chilled me out so much because he's just so adorable. And, it's taken the emphasis off me and put it all on him. And so it's made me more peaceful. And I am in seventh heaven. And we both are, to be honest with you. But...
on a lighter note, it's moved Elton into the computer age. for someone who's absolutely, steadfastly refused to, get online, embrace a computer, embrace the internet. Elton took delivery of his first iPad 2 weeks ago because it has the double camera on it, and he wants to be able to Skype his little son every day when he's not with him. So that's, for me, that's a monumental shift.
As they say, I'm now a modern woman.
And are you enjoying?
I've actually entered the 21st century.
Are you enjoying it as well, David?
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely loving it. He is the focus of my life now. I'm in a situation professionally where I very much am going to start taking my foot off the pedal where my filmmaking work and television work is concerned. Obviously, I'll never take my foot off the pedal with the AIDS Foundation work, but he comes first now, and I want to do everything I can so that the three of us can be together as a family as much as possible. And if that means putting my career in the back seat, then so be it. It's much more important that both Elton and I are there for him all the time.
That's lovely.
beautiful.
I know, yeah. If we may ask you just a quick couple of other questions. The three of you featured on a magazine cover which was banned by one store in the States. Why is it, do you think, that in this day and age that people still feel threatened by same-sex couples?
Ignorance, religion. It's a shame, but it wasn't a surprise. From American point of view, I don't think it wouldn't have happened in Europe, obviously, but America is quite a divided country, and it's a shame because it's a great country, and I love it very much. But they have a long way to go as far as things like that go.
You both and Lady Gaga have recently got behind a campaign for Gay Parents' Day. Now, I'm just visualising, fast forward 10 years and no longer baby Zachary walks into Clinton Cards, picks out a card for you both and comes home. Now, if anyone can make this campaign happen, it's you. How do you make it happen?
David? How do we make it happen?
I think you just live by example. We're just going to be as honest and open about our situation. We're very happy, very proud parents. I think that the world doesn't change overnight, and we just are going to be very open and very honest and try and be the best parents we possibly can in raising him. And hopefully, we've already received so many letters. I got an email yesterday from our lawyer who is dealing with a same-sex couple who are also going to go through the surrogacy route here in America. And they said that up until they realized our situation, they didn't think surrogacy was a viable option, and they didn't think it was safe. So there's even ignorance relating to issues like that. And I just think the more that we can live by example, be proud of who we are. As Elton said, put our heads above the parapet. Those more and more people feel empowered to live and have the fulfilled lives that they deserve and that they've always dreamt of. And that's the way real change happens.
We weren't by far, anyway, the first gay couple to have babies, adopt babies or have them through surrogacy. I mean, there's been so many people before us that have done it, and that's what encouraged us to do it. The stories of people who have done it. I mean, we did our homework, and we found that, it is a viable option. Other people have done it, and it's changed their lives. So we just, those are the people that led us by example. We just followed their example, and, we just, we're a little more famous than those people probably, so we brought more attention to it. But we just, we were lucky that other people have taken that plunge way before us and have had fantastic results and very happy results. So all we can do by, using our celebrity in inverted commas is say, is bring it out into the open even more. Because when we did our research, we found out that it's quite common for for gay couples of both sexes to have children by surrogacy. So by as David says, by us doing it, we open the window for poor people that probably didn't think it was possible. But we're not the first by a long way. We had pioneers way before us.
Listen, thank you so much for your time. One final question then. This year sees the 10th anniversary of same-sex unions, which started in the Netherlands, actually. The two of you are a wonderful example of a successful gay union. What's the secret? Communication,
honesty, love, respect. When David and I had our civil union in Windsor, it brought us closer together. We'd already been together for, I don't know how many years. We've been together 18 years this year, so probably 13 years. And it brought us together in the most incredible way. It moved us closer together. And then when we had Zachary at the beginning of the year, it moved us even closer together. I think if you love someone, and relationships are hard to maintain because, you're with somebody hopefully for the rest of your life, you have to discuss everything openly. You have to be honest. You have to treat the person with respect, and it has to be a 50-50 relationship. You can't, when you're in a relationship with me, sometimes before I met David, it was hard for the other person. But David came along, and, it was always a 50-50 relationship, and he made that clear. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. So respect, honesty, and work. I mean, all relationships have little bumps in them, but you've got to get through them.
I was just going to add, relationships are very special, precious, valuable things, and they do deserve to be respected. Put the work in, give them the work, and give them the time that they deserve, because it's never always on the up. There are difficult, bumpy parts, and you have to acknowledge that. You've got to bring that to the surface, make it a priority in your life, and work through your difficulties and your differences of opinion and your challenges. And you find that when you go through that process, it actually makes you stronger and brings you closer together.
So, David, do you wear the trousers?
I can't believe you just said that, Neil.
Of course.
Listen, thank you so much for your time. We haven't even had a chance to talk about the Elton John AIDS Foundation. If there's possible, we could sort of talk to you near a World AIDS Day. That would be fantastic.
Of
We'd
course,
be happy to do that.
great.
In the meantime, can I just say, Gaydar Heroes, Campaigners of the Year, Sir Elton John and David Furnish, thank you so much for speaking to Gaydar.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for doing great work.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a real honor.
GaydarRadio's Heroes.